just the one prior encounter with Darley this year, by my assessment, and it was a loss, and it was pretty inefficient in front of goal. What do you take out of that, harking back to round 11, which was obviously some time ago?
Yeah, look, obviously it was a fair while ago. The City Oval looks really good now, but it didn't back then. Look, Darley, and have been all year, a very good side. Probably took a little bit to get going, but in that middle part of the year when they were playing good footy, obviously it was a tough, good old-fashioned wet weather game of footy, and they come out on top. Look, we obviously weren't playing what I would consider our best football back then, but look, that was a long time ago.
In terms of your firepower and to kick a winning score, how are you positioned with regard to your lineup?
Yeah, look, not too bad. We'll probably have a couple of changes this week. A couple of guys go out and one or two come in. So Pat Britt, he won't play, injured against North in the I think first or second quarter last week, and so he's definitely out. The other guys still potentially may play, just get through training Thursday night and see how they are come Sunday morning.
Does it just come down to the midfield battle as to who wins it and provides their forwards this week?
Yeah, look, I think so. Most finals games are won in that area. Darley have a really good midfield and some players that have had outstanding years. And look, we're hopeful that we can counteract their midfield and our guys can get on top.
What did you take out of the game against North City over the weekend that perhaps can just, I suppose, motivate and shape the guys as they press forward in finals?
Yeah, look, obviously it was, like Robbie said before, some people said it was a good game to watch. Like you said, from a coaching point of view, it was a nervous and, I guess, really intense game. The guys come off and they were quite sore, a real strong final sit-out. But look, North City, during the second quarter, I think kicked 7 or 8 points and a couple of goals, and then again in the third quarter, and could have really had the game over, I guess, a little bit earlier than what they did. But in saying that, when we had our chance and got the footy, we made it count to the best of our ability, I think. And look, there's no time dwelling on a defeat. That's been and gone now, that game, and it's all now about getting ready for Sunday.
Do you make much of a focus of the midfield closing any particular players down?
Yeah, well, look, obviously Steve Kennedy has had an outstanding year and started really well. Probably people didn't really know much about him. Obviously a new player to the league, but sort of by the time Interleague come around and by the time, he actually didn't play the day we played them, but I've seen him play quite a few times. He's a very good player. Obviously also Jake Edwards at times plays through there and he's a very good player as well. So look, there's a number of players, and not only those two guys, there's a couple of the English boys, the young fella who's only 17 or 18 has had a very good year as well.
In terms of your own young players we've discussed previously that have had finals experience at, say, under 18 level and success, how important is a game like last week that they've now got that behind them and pressing ahead to another big game, which is clearly a cutthroat one now?
Yeah, look, obviously, but even still, some of those guys still played finals footy last year, so they're used to it now. They've had 3 or 4 games in finals, or actual finals pressure, intensity, and look, they're stepping up to the plate each week, and we don't see why this week would be any different.
Oh, thanks.
Damien Aubrey, do you reckon he'll be coming back in, or is he still a bit?
Oh, look, mate. Horbs, when he first hurt his ankle a couple of weeks ago at Melton, his ankle was probably the size of his quad. It's probably reduced now to the size of his calf, the big quads and calves, so it's still quite big. Look, it's probably highly doubtful, mate, that he'll get up to play. If he does, last night he was running and kicking, but probably only 50-60%, so he's still got a lot of work to do to come up to play.
Yeah. How much did that hurt? Obviously, he's been down back this year.
Yep.
He was Britty as well, and
yep.
Wade is on like 50-50.
Yeah.
So you're probably missing a few down back there.
Yeah, look, obviously, Pat at fullback, Damien at fullback, and now Pat from centre half back. They're 2 key players out of our side that most likely won't play this week. But look, we've had 7, 8, 9 guys go back there at different stages and get the job done. So hopefully, they can step back up to the plate. Matty Colbert will step up and take a big match up, and we've got lots of confidence in those guys as well.
Yep. Chris Gia coming back into the side.
Yep.
He's probably played half a dozen or so games, I suppose.
Yeah,
From the Roosters, obviously a good inclusion there.
Yeah, look, obviously, I'm not sure how many games he has actually played. Obviously, with the Roosters now no longer in finals, it's an added bonus to have him back. But look, you know, the Redan Football Club over a long period of time has been a great supporter of the VFL system, and to see himself and Nathan Horbury playing a senior VFL final last week was a great thing. But look, you know, they're no longer in, and having him back and his experience, played in a league throughout the year and also in the mid-country side will be an added bonus.
Yeah. Do you take a bit of confidence from North last year? They lost their first qualifying final, but so went on to win the flag. Obviously, it can be done. Obviously, you must take a bit of confidence out of the path they took last year.
Yeah, look, obviously, you know, Robbie and his team proved last year that it can be done, but to be honest, we're not looking any further than Sunday. We've got to get the job against Darley done, and if we can play our best footy, we think we're well and truly able to do that.
Is it fair to say they've almost had you measure a bit over the last couple of years? The game earlier this year was completely different. It was a slog, but I think last year they might.
Yeah, look, I think like this year was definitely a slog in the middle of June or July, whenever it was. When we played them last year, I think we only played once last year as well, down at Darley, and you know, it was a pretty close game. But look, I can't remember too much about that. But yeah, obviously the last two times they played, they have beaten us. Yeah.
So that's not a concern or anything like that. As you said, you haven't really played them all that often compared to some other teams.
Look, mate, it's not an issue.
Yep. Too easy.
Thanks, Joey.
Sorry, Paul. Couple of injuries and a bit of illness through the club this week. I've heard Steve Kennedy's it was a bit crook yesterday, apparently.
Yeah, we didn't train yesterday. We just went down the pool at a light night. He'll be fine though. Kennedy's he'll be right. Harley Inglis will come back into the side, who didn't get up last week. He had a flu, some infection and that, but he's fine now. Question mark over one or two others, whether they get up or not. We'll put them through their paces Saturday morning and see where they're at. If they're not, if they're not running at 95%, that they won't play.
Was it a fairly taxing game? Was it on the weekend?
Yeah, it was. The ground was hard. We wetted up a fair bit on the Friday night to try and take the sting out the middle. It was really hard. Really blowy on Sunday early, and it dried up really quick. But the ground in general was quite hard, and the boys pulled up a little bit sore. There's no two ways about that. That's why Tuesday night we had off last night, just a swim night, and we'll probably have an hour tomorrow night and another light run on Saturday.
Yeah. You made this same stage last year in the finals. You won the one and then bombed out. What have you learned from last year that you think you might be able to take into this week?
Look, I'm not sure what you actually learn from it, but I think we're a more balanced side than we were last year. We're probably more even. We're not so reliant on maybe 3 or 4 players as what maybe we may have been last year. With a good rotation now in the midfield, where if 3 guys come out and another 3 go in, and then your third group that rotate through there. Also, we've got full faith now in the guys that we do run through there, through them 9 guys, up to 12 guys that we do run through there. And I think an even spread of goal kickers down in the forward line takes a lot of pressure off Jake to always kick a score. So this year he probably hasn't hit the scoreboard as much as he has in previous years, which is a good thing from a team point that, excuse me, we are finding other ways to goals. So, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. You're the only Eastern side left in it. Is that significant in a way that do you feel you're almost sort of representing the Eastern half of the league in a way?
Yeah, I probably haven't got the true gist, if you like, of how the Eastern Bloc clubs feel about the Ballarat league and that. I know every time something goes wrong, it's the Ballarat league and it's the Ballarat league versus the Eastern Bloc sides, and that I certainly don't don't feel it, and I don't feel like we're representing anybody other than ourselves and the Darley Football Club. You know, I've been around a couple of country leagues now and a lot of local football where I've coached down there, and I think the Ballarat League is a terrific league, really well run. Had a good chat with Rod on Saturday before our game. The grounds are really nice grounds, and you know, I speak to guys that we're trying to lure up over the last couple of years and again for next year. And you know, you see the dance floors they've got to go out on in the Essendon District League and things like that, and different sizes and different kind of ground standards and things like that. And you come up and play on these ovals and that with 95% of the time really respectful kind of crowds and that than what you get down in the metropolitan leagues. And that's no, we certainly don't feel we're representing anybody other than ourselves this week. That's for sure.
And last week a bit inaccurate in front of goal.
Yeah, 12-21. It's been a little bit of an issue for us throughout the whole year. We've had a couple of games there where we're starting to nudge towards 25, 27 behinds and that. Look, the positive is we're getting our hands on the ball. We're getting enough inside 50s. You know, we're getting enough quality ball inside 50. You dwell on it too much about the missed opportunities, and then it becomes a real issue. So we try not to touch on it. And that, you know, not even jokingly, just let it go. The more you tend to dwell on it, the more players will start to really get it in their head and that. But as I said, the positive is we're getting the inside 50s, we're getting some good quality inside 50s, and we just need to make sure, especially against Redan, and however further we may go, that you're not going to get that amount of ball as what we have been getting as the competition gets harder and harder. So it's about making the most of every opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it for me.
Thanks. Redan's extra day of recovery, does that influence your thinking with regard to what sort of game you can allow them to play come this weekend, knowing that perhaps if it's a freewheeling open sort of game, that maybe they'll just run the game out better than you? Is that something that's coming to your reckoning?
No. We'll go out there and play footy the way we like to play it at Darley, and we'll endeavour to accommodate Redan in any way. You know, if they want to get out and run, we'll attempt to shut them down. We'd probably prefer an in-close game. That's kind of the Darley way that it's been there in the time that I've been there. We've got a lot of workhorses in and under, and we're very aware that not just Redan, but the other sides really can open us up on the outside. So, you know, we'll endeavour to keep it nice and tight. You know, as we've said all along, and that we know we're not the best side in the competition, but we've only got to be the best on the day. So we're going in there full of confidence. Young kids are up and about, you know, and we'll be waiting for them.
Mm-hmm. With all due respect to North City and Sunbury, Redan's been right up there amongst the very best teams of the last decade, and they clearly know how to play big occasion football, and they've got great familiarity with the Eastern Oval. Do you look at that record that they boast, and does that in any way influence your thinking or what you've got to do for your own boys to get them up, knowing that Redan clearly know how to play big occasion football?
I do. Personally, you know, I sit back and you get in awe of these clubs like your Redans and North and that, and back in the Essendon League of your Keilor and Strathmore and that are always up in the top two all the time, and you often scratch your head and see how they just keep doing it. And obviously they've got a terrific culture at the club. They've obviously got great leadership, and they go hand in hand, and when you've got good culture, good leadership, then that'll bring success. From a playing point of view, I'm not sure that they'd actually give it a second thought. It's just, you know, them against us against them. I don't think players would run out there and think, gee, this is Redan, and they've been so successful over the years. See ball, get ball, and stick to your structures. I don't think players really think about it.
And you had a look at Redan on the weekend?
I didn't know. I went and had a look at another game for Tad. But the boys did come up.
So who do you really look to where the game is in the balance, knowing that it's a big occasion? Once again, fellas that perhaps have been there, done that, and have a sense of composure. But who's Darley going to rely on in that regard this week when it gets tight?
Look, we probably think that our 7 best are probably as good as any getting around in the league, and I think most clubs would probably say, yeah, you have got a really good 7. The thing is, they're going to nullify our 7. They're going to do the same in returning. That it's about that next group that's going to come up. So that's where we want to put all our focus, is to make sure that that other group of 12, 13 guys are there to play their role. So we know our leaders will lead, and they'll lead from the front and do well. But it'll be that next 10, 12, 14 players that are there in the side, that they're the ones we're going to be looking to when the game's in the balance, to do something. When the game's starting to slip, to do something. When we've got our foot on the throat, to go and do something and put them away.
Do you anticipate it's going to be a pretty physical sort of game, knowing what hangs in the balance, given that it's cutthroat?
Probably no more than usual. I wouldn't think. It's certainly not something that we're going out there to instigate or anything like that. At my time at Darley, they have been a physical side, so I certainly know that won't ease up come Sunday. But the Ballarat League football's not a real physical competition anyway. From the time that I've been here, it's very skillful. It's young. It's quick ball movement. And most sides are very well structured up, so we're hoping that we can win as much contested ball as possible. It's what we pride our game on, is to win as much contested ball as possible. Complement the guys on the outside and let them do their thing, and get some quality inside 50. And if the grounds are heavy and things aren't right, well, we anticipate we'll be there when the whips are cracking. So.
Yeah, good. Well, the weather forecast is really nice weather, so.
Okay.
Good. Thanks very much, guys.
No worries.
Really appreciate that.